In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. Excuse me, this is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. Some people call it Fort Liberty, but I'm not going to call it that. And we're here for another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix, Exodus from Bondage for an Attorney, or an attorney's exodus from legal bondage, however you want to phrase it. So I hope everybody's doing well, whatever time zone you're in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. So I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited to be here. I have a sweet tea. I'm not supposed to have it. There's probably sugar in it. I need to cut down on sugar. But you know what? This is the South, and this is what we do here. And it's real sweet tea, and it's got crushed ice, and it's my favorite. So now I've got my sweet tea with crushed ice, and I have you all here. We're good to go. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? All right, I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this thing called legal coaching and versus leadership and this concept called 10X. Okay. So every time I go on the internet, every time, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or some social media platform, people are marketing or advertising for being a coach, a life coach this, a life coach that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And there is a difference between being a coach and being a leader. Now, growing up, my familiarity with coaches were my physical education, PE teacher, coach, football coach, baseball coach, basketball coach, volleyball coach, track coach. Those were coaches. Okay? Yeah. And the difference between really, coaching is more instructional. Leading is you've already received all the instruction. You've got a team of people and you're leading people. You don't coach assets. You don't coach resources. You lead people. Just like when I was an Army officer, I did what? I led soldiers. I didn't lead trucks, okay? I didn't lead weapons. I managed resources. I managed money. I managed military assets and equipment, but I did what? I led soldiers. Now, there's training involved with my non-commissioned officers, NCOs, and with me at the company level. And so we would train, we would instruct, but then we would take that and we would go lead. And there's a difference in leading than coaching. And it drives me crazy to where my head wants to explode when we're in this thing about people saying, I'm a life coach. I'm like, okay, what the hell are you coaching? And most of the time, when I look at some of these people, I don't know if they're real life coaches. I'd like to know really behind closed doors, how do they really live? There are a few people that I personally know, and you can see their results because they walk the talk. They show it. There's no doubt that they are leaders in their industries, and they train people. Now, some people call them coaches, but in reality, they are leaders, and they lead what they live. And that is a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing for me to do. And I didn't understand this concept, this reality, until really about 2018. And then when I joined Wake Up Warrior, which was founded by Garrett J. White, who's also the CEO, and I reference him all the time because he's a huge influence in my life. And this is a guy that walks the talk, okay? Walks the talk. And, he points out this difference, this distinction, in being a leader. And in the legal profession, yes, lawyers manage monies like their operating account, their trust account. They manage their caseload and blah, 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 blah. But in reality, to be a legal warrior, to escape the legal matrix, you have to lead your people. You have to lead them from and lead yourself from this nation of bondage, this an exodus out of this bondage into the promised land. And you're going to find that this is going to be one of the toughest things you do. But you know what the toughest thing is? Leading yourself. And you'll hear this term all the time about 10xing things. 10xing profits. Maybe you made 100,000 and you want to 10x it, and whatever 100,000 times 10 is $1 million, okay? Maybe you made 10 million, you want to make 100 million. This 10x concept. And when I see this from these so-called life coaches or coaches about 10x this, 10x that, here's the difference. Here's where we're unique at Legal Warrior. If you don't have your domains in line, a body, being, balance, business, and fulfillment, there is no 10xing of anything. There's no 10xing of a law firm or money or anything, because why? You're dead. You're either the walking dead or you're literally dead. You can't 10x anything. I can't 10x anything unless I'm leading, unless I'm have fulfillment, unless I'm attacking these domains and rising in body, being, balance, business, and fulfillment, and going through the process and embracing the pain and the passion that fuels the domains. So this thing about this 10x, like 10x your income, 10x this, if you are screwed up in these domains, the only thing you're going to 10x is your death. That's it. You're going to shrink the amount of time of your expected, your life expectancy. The average male may live to, 75, 85 years old. I don't know, whatever the insurance tables, women, 80s, 90s. But if your domains are so screwed up and you have no balance and your health and your body is all screwed up and you have no relationship with God and it's just everything's spiraling out of control, you're not going to 10x anything. There's nothing to 10x because you can't function. And see, this was starting to happen to me. This was starting to the legal matrix was starting to adversely affect me. I was getting fatigued. I was questioning everything. I was hating everybody, hating everything, and I was hating myself. And everybody keeps talking about 10x, and I'm like, how the hell do you get to 10x when you're like I got to phone a friend, I need a helpline here to even get to 10x. I think I'm at negative 10x. And it's not a place that you want to be. It's just not. So as you move forward, whether you're in law school, whether you're a brand new lawyer, maybe out for a few years, who's leading you? Are you even leading yourself? And if you are leading yourself, where are you leading yourself to? What is the location? What is your ultimate destination? What is your impossible game? So you have to look at the facts of where you are today. Maybe you're at 1x. I don't know. What are the facts of body, being, balance, business, and fulfillment? Is it 0? Like if you went from 0 to 10, where 10 was like, man, I am on fire at 10, to 0, like, I think I'm dead. I think I'm in a coffin. I'm not moving. I'm not breathing. To 5, like, I'm sort of limping along here, walking. Where are you on the scale of 1 to 10? If you're leading yourself, if you were to look in the mirror, can you honestly say, I am leading myself on all the domains? Because I'm going to tell you what, for me, many times, one or more of my domains are off. There were times like, man, my body looks like hell and I'm not working out and I don't look good and I don't feel good. And then that would basically steamroll into all the other domains. When I was so fatigued and tired and grumpy and I feel good, I wasn't focused. I didn't have clarity. And everybody keeps saying, you're 10x this. And I kept saying, how the hell do you 10x anything? You can't 10x anything. You can't lead anybody at all when your own life is so screwed up and you can't even lead yourself. This is going to be the biggest battle you have as a lawyer. Now, you can look at all of these programs online. And there are there was one I was looking at today. I won't mention the name of the company, but they're fantastic for what they do. No doubt, this particular individual and those that he leads, they are successful. They really are. But the difference in them and the difference of what Legal Warrior does is they're trying to 10x growth in firms. They're trying to 10x money. And that's all great and wonderful. But if you're not 10xing yourself in leadership and body, being, balance, business, and fulfillment, you will never, ever, I will never, ever get to a 10x. However you want to define 10x. Because even people that are multimillionaires and billionaires, if you read about their lives and listen to what they say, some of them are miserable. And some of them that got diseases like cancer and things of that nature, all the money in the world did not save them. It did not save them. It didn't save them. For those that were so self-destructive that they ended their lives by suicide, working thousands of hours per year did not save them. 10Xing all it did not save them. And inside, there were silent killers. They may have been depressed, maybe alcoholics, maybe on drugs, different addictions. And the only thing they were 10Xing was speeding up the end of their lives. And this is something that's critical and something that you have to understand. And if you remember, on some of the other episodes that we discussed about the American Bar Association when they released their yearly stats, and the one that just came out within the last couple months about, the mental health and the suicide rates and idolations of lawyers, especially young ones under 30. It's still, even now, I've said this 100 times, it astounds me. It's crushing to realize that this is happening for lawyers across the nation and probably across the world. I mean, we have 1.3 million active lawyers in the United States. And out of those 1.3 million active lawyers, these studies are not good for the profession. It really is the legal matrix. The legal profession has a high percentage of suicides, a high percentage of addictions, especially to alcohol and drugs. I mean, you can read it, Google it, you can read any of the studies. It's not good. And how does that happen? So what are we 10Xing? Are we 10Xing the amount of cases? Are we 10Xing the number of clients? Are we 10Xing the amount of stress? Are we 10Xing the amount of bondage that we're in? How much freedom do you really have right now? On the weekends, are you finding yourself at the law firms, your office, maybe your home office, if that's where you're working out of, constantly, 20 hours a day? How much sleep are you getting? And see, this happened to me. I mean, it would just go on day after day after day. I felt like I was, on repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, day in, day out, week in, week out, month after month, until it turns into years, it turns into decades. And then the next thing you know, you're looking in the mirror, and again, you don't even recognize who you are anymore. And yeah, you've 10X'd, all right. Oh, yeah. You've 10X'd your waistline. You've 10X'd the bags under your eyes. You've 10X'd the loss of hair. You've 10X'd the loss of any enjoyment and fulfillment that you might have thought that you had, only to realize that you were in bondage with change just weighing you down. And you didn't lead yourself anywhere. You became the hamster, like when I used to have Habit Trail as a kid, and the hamster would run on the wheel. Now they got good exercise, okay? they would run all day. Then they'd run all night. I tried to watch some TV back then, and that freaking wheel would make all that noise. I'd be like, dude, you're going to have to stop. And he wouldn't stop. So I had to take the wheel out. Then he'd get all angry birds with me. So I would watch the hamster, and I'm like, yeah, he's running, man. He's getting great exercise, but he's not going anywhere. And folks, it's a rat race out there, and the rats are winning. But they don't have to. They don't have to. You don't have to be a rat in the rat race. Because all rats do is eventually, when there's no food, they just eat each other and kill each other until there's one rat left. And then when there's no food, there's one rat left. Like, uh-oh, I guess I'm going to chew my own foot off. So you really have to look at this. Are you leading or are you coaching? Which is it? Because here at Legal Warrior, it's not about coaching. It's not. It's about being real. It's about telling you, getting real with you, getting raw with you, and then trying to get some results in these domains. That's what I've had to do. I had to take that deep look inside myself and then take a look at myself in the mirror and say, what am I doing to my life? Where am I going? And again, I felt like the hamster on the hamster wheel. I was moving fast to nowhere. And my domains were they were train wrecks. Man, they were just train wrecks. And so now, as I listen to people and I watch other people and I even on the social media content and I hear about life coaches. And I mean, most of these people, their lives they're screwed up. There's no integrity in what they're doing. There's not. I can tell. You after a while, when you've been around people that walk the talk and live what they talk, then you can see the difference. You can see the difference. Even with lawyers, some lawyers may make millions and millions of dollars, but if they end up on the wrong end of the barrel of a gun one night, blowing their brains out and they're dead, all that 10X, it was for nothing. Now left behind loved ones who are just devastated. Law firms are devastated. Clients don't have a lawyer. Kids without parents. Parents without their kid. Siblings without their fellow sibling. I mean, really, this is the impact. This is serious stuff. Escape the Legal Matrix is not about coaching. It's about leading. It's about giving you the skill set so you can lead yourself so that you can ultimately lead others. I'm not asking you to do what I'm not willing to do myself or I'm not doing. In body, yes, I work out. Do I want to every day? No. But if I don't work out, it's going to be problematic for me health-wise. In balance, are all my relationships perfect? No. But I work on them. And the ones that are so toxic to me, I get rid of. And I've gotten rid of a lot of toxic relationships in my life, especially over the last year, 2 years. In being, again, that's a personal choice you have to make whether you believe in God or Jesus or not. I do. I feel that we are accountable for what we do or fail to do. And I believe that when we die, we will be judged. We will. Now, we may be forgiven depending upon your beliefs, how you feel about Jesus and whether you believe in him, whether you accept him. I'm just saying you have to make a choice. If there is no God and there is no Jesus in being, okay. You don't believe anything? Yeah, okay, you win, no problem. But if you're wrong, and I truly believe if you don't have a connection to God, that you will go off path and you will be self-destructive because there's no conviction in you. And there's no knocking on your head for a warning, kind of like when your smoke detectors go off to warn you of the impending fire, the dumpster fire that's going to consume you. And then you get to balance again. You get to balance. Like, again, these relationships, where are you? Balance is, again, it's a big thing. I mean, body, fitness, being, relationship with God, and then balance. Are you taking vacation? You're taking time yourself. For lawyers, it's tough, man. It's just tough. You feel guilty when you take off. You're like, God, I've got so many deadlines. I've got to issue subpoenas. I've got to talk to witnesses. We've got depositions. I've got to type court orders. I've got to draft this lawsuit, this counter lawsuit, these motions. And it just never ends until you end it, until you draw the lines in the sand and put a shield up and say, I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm going to go listen to some music. I'm going to call my best friend. I'm going to call my family, people I love and that I care about. And you demand it and you lead yourself in balance. And then there's business. It's the hardest thing. Most of my career, I didn't know a lot of things that I should have known about marketing and connecting and, all these things in the law firm. I wish I had, but I didn't wake up till a few years ago. There's a lot more available now to really thrive in business, and money shouldn't be the end all because, again, at the end of your life, you're not taking it with you. You're not. There's nothing wrong with making lots of money if you do it the right way and you're honest. You're not a big thief, kind of like our federal government. But anyway, business. You're in the business. What are you in the business? Why are you here? Why are you here? You're working for somebody else and slaving away. And where's your 10X when you're working for somebody else? Because they don't want you to be 10X. They want to be 10X. Are they leading you? Or are they just managing you? Are you just a resource? Or are you a person? So in body, being, balance, and business, see, I had to ask myself all these questions. Even when I started out my career and I was working for somebody else. I never even heard this term, 10X, when I started out lawyering. I didn't even know what that meant. I'm not even sure it was around. Not even sure it was. Now you hear it all the time. And you have to ask a better question. What am I 10Xing? Am I 10Xing the right things? Am I leading or am I coaching myself? There's a difference. There's a difference with leading and coaching and being this 10X. You got to know the difference. You got to be able to see it. When you escape the legal matrix, you can't coach your way out of the legal matrix. Listen to me. You cannot coach your way out of the legal matrix. No way, no how, not happening, not and yet, nine. No. You have to lead yourself out of the legal matrix. And then you have to lead others out of the legal matrix. What, you think Moses was a manager? Leading people out of Egypt? No. He had to be a leader. He had to make tough choices. Really tough choices. He had to be brave. He had to have that courage. He had to be bold. Had to be bold. Courage, faith, yeah. He had to lead people, and all he did was gripe and complain and whine. That's why they wandered the desert for 40 years. I'm having this sweet tea with crushed ice. I'm telling you, it's the greatest thing. But getting back to what we're talking about, are you leading yourself out of the nation of bondage into the promised land? Or not? It's a yes or no. You know. How do you feel when you go to bed at night? Do you feel like a coach? Or do you feel like you're being coached? Are you being led? Or are you leading? At some point in your life, you're going to want more. You're going to wake up. You're going to have that feeling like I did. You're like, something's missing. Something's missing because there's so much more inside you. There's so much more inside me. Leading. Be a leader. Don't just be a good leader. Be a great leader. Be a great leader. They say some people are born leaders. I don't know about that. Maybe, it's God's plan, everybody's sole purpose. Maybe God does design people to be great leaders. Or maybe great leaders are created out of circumstance or circumstances. What about you? Are you a leader? Are you just a follower? Are you sitting on the bench? Or are you in the game? For me, I made a choice a long time ago. I decided to be a leader. I'm not PE coach, not a track coach, not a football coach, not a basketball coach, not a baseball coach. I'm a litigator. I lead my teams here. But I have to lead me first. I have to be in integrity with me. If I can't lead me, there's no way I can lead other people. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead other people too. We're not this happy, clappy thing with Legal Warrior. It's not what we're building. We're building an army of litigators that operate in truth, that are ruthlessly committed to being the best version of who they can be. It's not about coaching. It's about leading. And the leading has to start with each one of us. I want you to sit on that tonight, today, whatever time zone you're in. I want you to think about that. Where in your world are you leading? And where in your world are you leading yourself to? What is your destination? Or are you just coaching? And who are you coaching? Because remember, there is a difference between coaching and leading. There's a huge difference. Be the difference. Be the leader. Don't be a good leader. Be a great leader. Okay, this is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. They call it Fort Liberty, but I will never call it that. This has been another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix, an attorney's exodus from legal bondage. And we've been talking about coaching versus leading and about this concept of 10X. So again, take a good look in the mirror. Think about it. Where are you leading yourself? Are you leading or are you coaching? What are you 10Xing? Are you 10Xing anything? Or are you just 10Xing yourself to an early death? Think about it. Think about it long and hard for the next 24 hours. Write it down. Answer the question. Be truthful. Because you know what? You can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. Okay, so this is Bryce D. Nyer. Again, I've got work to do, things to do. I've got to go lead myself right out of this room and go get some chow. So again, have a great day, have a great night, have a great morning, wherever you are. We're out of here.